everybody. This is Brian.
Jason.
And this is the Perfectly Screwed. Well, you know where the fuck you are. You're in the Perfectly Screwed podcast. If you're listening to us by now, goddamn.
Right.
Yeah, you know who this is. Don't play, bitch. It's Samson.
I want to talk to Samson.
I want to talk to Sam.
Fly me to the moon, I get lifted.
Fly me to the moon.
It's tough being young, black, and gifted.
Is it? I'm sorry for you.
What a great movie.
Dave Chappelle, man. Brilliant comedian.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the most brilliant comedians in the world. So, to start off, I was just telling you about Trump, so I wanted to tell you what he wrote recently. So now Trump is saying, now his latest rant of crazy, which I love this guy. I do. I love Trump because he keeps giving me stuff to talk about. The more, more crazy that comes out of his mouth, the better
You're
it is.
not the only one.
I know.
And that's why this motherfucker's going to be president again. He's going to be president. He's serving 4 more years.
I hope so.
As the president of the United States of America before he dies. I promise you that.
I hope they don't convict him. If he doesn't win this time, he's just going to try again.
And do the whole
thing. You might as well just let him go.
Doesn't the whole thing seem a little creepy? Like, isn't there something in the Bible that talks about, like, the sounding of the last trump?
The trumpet, you ass.
Yeah.
Not Trump.
Well, close enough.
Yeah. We're going into the end days, ladies and gentlemen. Predictions by Jason from the Perfectly Screwed podcast.
Don't vote him in, motherfuckers.
You heard it here first.
You have to switch this up.
You heard it here first.
You have to change destiny.
Well, no, think about it. If you're a Christian, you'd want to vote him in. You
True.
prove yourself right.
True.
You're going to heaven. Just vote him in, goddammit.
I'll be raptured out of here before that anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. Not to get off the subject, but it doesn't make any sense for Christians to hate the Antichrist. You should love the Antichrist because he's going to issue you in, according to your Bible, peace and serenity and take you right on to heaven without ever going through the pains of death.
100%.
Right.
But he isn't going to announce himself as, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm the Antichrist. Plus Antichrist, I think people get
bad vibes.
Well, a vision in their mind of, well, I'm going to know who the Antichrist is because, well, he's Antichrist. But Antichrist means someone acting as Christ.
I guess.
Yeah, somebody basically acting and trying to, trick everybody into thinking he's doing exactly as Christ did.
See, I just think it's bad press. That's what I think it is. I think he's been railroaded. I think it's bad press. If we just get him
Antichrist?
if we just get him the right agent.
Absolutely.
The right ad agency, we could spin this all the way around.
Oh, he's already been fucking...
Yeah,
he's already been thrown under the bus.
Yeah, it's bad press.
And demonized, and he isn't even fucking here yet.
Maybe he isn't that bad of a guy. I mean, how do you
probably
know?
Lovely.
Yeah, get to know him first before you judge. I mean,
he really does perform miracles.
Let's be woke, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's not jump to conclusions because look what we did to Christ.
We are a woke culture, and I'll refuse to be the first one to jump on the bandwagon of bad-mouthing the Antichrist. That is anti-Christism. And I am not
100%.
having it.
You put him up on the anti-cross.
I am not having it.
And I'm going to get him down. I'm getting him
That's anti-Christism, and I'm
not letting him hang.
I'm leading a rally. Antichrist lives matter. And we are just going to have ourselves a march, and I'm not having it. Okay? We're a woke culture, and we will not have this.
Nope.
We're not going to just badmouth people that we don't even know.
It's true.
He might be a good guy. You don't know.
We're going to badmouth Trump. Because we know him.
I wasn't even really going to badmouth him. I was just telling you what the man said.
What he said.
Okay, well, what he said was a lie. But,
right.
but he says so many of them, it's hard to keep track. No, what he said now is his newest thing, is that he said that on January 6th, when all the people raided the Capitol there, that he told Nancy Pelosi that there was 10,000 soldiers, National Guardsmen, just waiting to defend the Capitol. And she needs to put them out there. And she chose not to because it would look bad on her and get people all on a fuss. That's what he's saying. He said the Democrats wanted January 6th to happen so they could cover up the fraud in the election.
What was January 6th?
When they raided the Capitol. When all those people came to the Capitol to protest the election and went in there and, beat up some guards and killed some folks and acted like stupid asses.
So Trump's saying there was 10,000
National Guard
on
and
standby.
And it was Nancy Pelosi's decision, and she said no. No. Can't have it because it'll look bad, it'll cause a ruckus. That's a lie because the Speaker of the House...
A ruckus...
Right.
As opposed to what happened anyway?
Right.
Wow.
But see, this is the point. The Speaker of the House cannot ignore direct order from Commander-in-Chief. I mean... Right. If he said...
He was still president.
Right. If he said 10,000 National Guard... Right, of course it is.
Right.
But there was never 10,000 National Guard anyways. Of course not.
Right.
Nancy Pelosi was on the phone begging for the National Guard to get there when the riots started to happen. Okay? There was no 10,000 nobody waiting in the wings. And he says they wanted it to happen, the January 6th riot. Now he's saying the Democrats wanted the January 6th riot to distract from the fact that they stole the election from him.
Well, of course. Little magic trick the Democrats play.
Yeah. And he goes, why aren't we looking into Nancy Pelosi? They're looking into me. Why aren't they looking into her?
I do agree.
Jesus
I do
Christ.
agree on one thing. I mean, I do agree that it happened because somebody wanted it to happen.
Oh, I do too.
All of these things happen because somebody wants it to happen.
Yeah.
Because I guess my question is,
I don't think it was Trump necessarily.
there's just some. It seems to me that there's some places, some buildings that probably need to be heavily guarded.
You think?
I mean, we shouldn't have to be relying on 10,000 National Guard on standby. Can't we put a couple snipers?
I mean, you'd think you'd have a few National Guard hanging around the Capitol.
A couple dudes with fucking like AKs or something. Like, what's the Buckingham Palace has them guard dudes that stand there?
Right.
Like, we shouldn't just let anybody come into the goddamn state or the Capitol building or like the White House or things like this.
Right. Well, that's what I've always said about so many things that have happened in this country. I mean, we could go back to 9/11 if we want to start at it. I mean, would it be easier for a guy to hijack some jets and fly them illegally into a building, or would it be easier for the same guys to strap large amounts of bombs to themselves and blow up the building?
Yeah.
I think the second option is much easier. So why was it so out there in people's faces? There was a reason for that. I mean, I have a whole theory about the COVID Russian conspiracy. Have I ever talked? No, I haven't talked about that on the podcast. Have you ever heard my theory on that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Think about this for a second. And when I say it, it'll seem logical to everybody. A lot of people don't think about it, but everybody I've told about this agrees with me that it's quite logical. So, when COVID happened, and they started all this fear. Now, I'm not saying COVID wasn't real. It was a real virus. It just wasn't as deadly as they portrayed it to be. So when they drowned up all this fear, what went up in price? Who made all the money? Now, we know because we worked for a big retailer at the time. Dollar General made a lot of money. Walmart, a lot of places that dealt with paper goods, places that made diapers. There was some industries during COVID that made huge amounts of revenue because of COVID. Pharmaceuticals, yes. But some industries suffered. Specifically, the food industry, the gasoline industry, and natural gas prices went way down. All of those suffered badly during COVID. Now, who's the ones making the profit off the Russian-Ukraine war? The gasoline industry, the national gas industry, and the food industry. The same ones that suffered during COVID. Now, I'm not saying that's a conspiracy. All I'm saying, it sounds like to me someone said, look, guys, you guys are going to have to take a hit during COVID. But we got you.
Right.
Don't worry. We're going to get you back.
Yeah.
And you're going to see profits. You just got to wait for them. So you're going to take a hit right now. We're going to give all these guys profits right now. But we've got something in motion right now. Here in a few years, you'll see it all come to fruition. You guys are going to start making money. Don't you worry, we got you. It seems like it's all was planned, just from the very beginning.
Well, 100%.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really probably delved into it, all the profits from the people that made all the profits during COVID, and now the people making all the profits post-COVID are probably the same fucking people.
Probably.
They're probably the same fucking people, and they're the ones planning the shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good theory, and I mean, I've wondered, what exactly this Russian-Ukrainian war is. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it happening?
It's not a war, it's conflict, damn it.
Or whatever the conflict is. I mean, it's fucking baffling, though, if you really sit and think, try to wrap your mind around it, right? That somewhere else on this planet, the same fucking Earth that we're on, dude, there's fucking a war going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A humongous fucking war, dude. And see, that's the other thing. It seems like every inch of the fucking planet's had a goddamn war on it, except where we're at.
Well, there's reason for that.
It's fucking coming.
I mean, well, you got to think about this. There's reasons why, for most of our history, the United States and Canada and the whole North American, South American continent has really been spared. I mean, first of all, you got Canada, who's a major power player, but pretty much a peaceful individual. Then you got some third world countries down south. Most of them don't have the military nor technology to really initiate a huge war with the United States or Canada.
Yeah.
So those are our neighbors. Now, if you go overseas, they do have a lot of technology, very technologically advanced, a lot of warring different nations over there, and they're all connected. Okay, whereas for Russia to come to the United States, I mean, up until recently, it would have took a full-scale invasion of massive proportions for them to get here.
Yeah.
And we would have probably stopped them way before they got towards us. Same thing with any other country over there, because there's a large ocean in between us that kind of stops it. That's really the only reason.
Well, and I mean, also, to your point about other countries overseas having, technology, I guess the real truth is, it just happens to be the United States, where we're at, that for whatever reason right now has been chosen to be the empire. The place on the earth where the actual fucking empire set up. Because the real truth is, we got the technology from Germany.
Oh, yeah.
From the Nazis.
Yes, of course we did.
And then we brought them over here. That's the reason that we're safe.
Well, just ask Kanye West. People should forgive Hitler. That's what he said. Kanye West is a jackass and clearly a racist because Hitler wouldn't like him any more than he does anybody else, but...
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah,
But he's crazy as hell. He's out here going, the Jews are conspiring, and they run the porn industry, and that's the reason...
You shouldn't forgive Hitler, but I think it's important to not lose sight of the fact of what the fuck is really going on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Hitler's gone, but Biden is Hitler. Trump is Hitler. Hitler is our fucking president.
Biden's not smart enough to be Hitler. Biden was fucking up way before he was president.
The thing is, Hitler was a front man. The same as they're a front man.
Oh yeah, it's all
same as
front.
Putin's a front man.
Oh yeah,
it's all being orchestrated behind the scenes.
Right.
By who? I don't fucking know.
I don't either.
You don't. Nobody does.
Nobody's ever.
That's the goddamn point.
And it's probably a large group of people.
It's a fairly large group.
Yeah.
But as compared to the 8 billion of us that are on the earth, it's like maybe 100.
Jason's having technical difficulties over here. He's dropped his phone, his lighter, and everything else in his possession. I blame the marijuana. That's what I blame.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, we will proceed. Well, that's not what we're talking about today, though. We're not talking about Hitler, and although, on this point, before I get on our real topic today, I wanted to say one more thing about Kanye West. I understand why Trump invited him to have dinner with him, because him and Kanye probably get along very well because they're both clearly insane and out of their minds. Because Kanye won't stop porn. Did you hear this?
He what?
He won't stop porn.
He wants to stop porn?
Yeah, him and a bunch of other religious nutbags say that porn is ruining society. They want to stop porn, and the Jews are controlling all the porn. Which, if I knew Jews were that freaky,
I mean,
I'd have been on. I mean, I wrote "All I Want for Christmas Is a Jew."
It is ruining society.
That there's not enough of it.
But it's not necessarily the Jews that are putting it all out there. And see, I don't give a fuck who you are. You ain't stopping it.
Look,
you ain't stopping it.
Porn improves life. It does not ruin anything.
Well, I mean, scientifically, the dopamine effects, it ruins people.
Well, that's just because they don't know how to handle it.
But, well, Jesus Christ, what does humans know how to handle?
Yeah, I mean, anything that gives you pleasure gives you a dopamine effect.
Right.
That's why people consume way too much food. That's why people consume way too many drugs. But Jesus, you need something in this world to keep you going. Because without these little things like porn and bad food and drugs, we would all kill each other. Because life otherwise is hell.
True, I guess. Yeah, I'm not saying do away with porn. I'm saying maybe it should not be so readily available to everybody.
Well, maybe people should just be able to regulate their own impulses and deal with their shit.
They absolutely should.
I mean, everything is fine in moderation. Okay? You just need to control your damn selves. No one makes you go out and drink every night till you're in a damn stupor. No one makes you do all the drugs you do. Control your shit. Take some responsibility for yourself and control your shit. That's the problem with America.
That is what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's the problem with this whole country.
Individually control yourself.
Oh, I'm an addict. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. You know what? Maybe you are, but the only way to stop being an addict is to stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's real. It's a simple answer. It's the same thing with people who overeat and they're like, I can't control it. Yeah, you can. You just choose not to.
And the other thing that needs to happen is we need to stop feeling sorry for everybody.
You're damn right.
And quit giving them the label, right, of an addict, or to give somebody that label, you automatically have excused them. Oh, you're an addict. You have an excuse.
Well, I mean,
you have an excuse to just blow all your fucking money, every paycheck, on alcohol and drugs, even though you have children.
Well,
that's absolutely fine. You're an addict.
Well, it's not fine, but
no, it's not fine.
I mean, some people are addicts.
And you're not an addict. You're an asshole. Just that simple, bub.
Well, you can toss a pebble in the United States and find an asshole. But what we're talking about, I swear to God,
what the fuck are we?
We're getting to paranormal. I promise you. What we're going to talk about is for our people in Missouri, because I've noticed we have a large group of people in Missouri that be listening to us. That was good English there. I'm glad I sound intelligent. Be listening to us. All you people in Missouri, be listening. So we're going to talk about a little place in Jefferson City, Missouri, which is the Missouri State Penitentiary. And the Missouri
is the capital of Missouri.
Yeah, Jefferson City is. And it's interesting. Do you know why Jefferson City is still the capital?
No.
Because of the Missouri State Penitentiary.
Really?
Yeah. They built the penitentiary there in Jefferson City because they were going to move the state capital. And to prevent that from happening, they built the state penitentiary in Jefferson City to keep the state capital in Jefferson City.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. So,
it's an important business, is what it was.
Well, yeah, it operated from 1836. Now, wrap your head around this. 1836. That's a long motherfucking time ago. To 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, that had a good
170 years.
170 years that motherfucker was in operation.
Wow.
I mean, they finally had to shut it down because, most of it was built in 1836. Imagine the shithole cells that you got from 1836.
Oh, my God.
Imagine if you were the inmate in that cell. That would be not a good place. It's just not good to go to.
No.
The 1836 cells where you want to stay the fuck away, bro.
I'm guessing, if you got sent up to the Missouri State Penitentiary like in 2003, you're a fucking hardboiled criminal. You are hard.
Yeah. Well, this motherfucker, first of all, it looks like a giant castle. It's huge.
Well, you said it was like, 47 acres?
Yeah, it's 47 acres. And it served as the state of Missouri's primary maximum security institution before it was closed. So, yeah, if you were sentenced to Missouri State, you're going to the hard time, baby.
Yeah.
It's max. It's max.
We're not seeing you.
Yeah, no. They're saving you a special place in 1836 block.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the oldest operating penile. I like that one, Dan.
Nice.
Penile facility west of the Mississippi River. It was replaced by the Jefferson City Correctional Center, which opened September 15, 2004. So it was designed by John Haviland, and constructed in the early 1830s to serve the newly admitted 821st state of Missouri. So, 821, yeah. So 821 was when the state of Missouri became a state. And 1830 is when they built this penitentiary. So, Missouri had just became a state 9 years previous.
Okay.
And they finally got around, hey, we need to probably build a prison for these jackasses. All right, yeah. So, Jefferson City had been designated the state capital in 1822, and Governor John Miller suggested that the state's main prison be constructed there to help the city maintain its somewhat tenacious status against other towns trying to obtain the capital for themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got a battle for capital.
Yeah, they had a battle. A lot of people, it was only 9 years old. It just became a state. So there was a lot of cities going, hey, man, why can't we be the capital? Hey, why can't we be the capital? And they said, look, if we build a state penitentiary here, we can shut all these fuckers up. All right? And, we're the capital and fuck you.
Right.
So James James Dunica, Dunica, D-U-N-N-I-C-A, Dunica. Dunica? Okay, we'll go with Dunica. James Dunica, a master stonemason, who built the first Capitol building in Jefferson City in 1826, was appointed to oversee the construction of the new prison. And $25,000 was allotted by, I'm doing great this morning. We're doing great. Allotted.
That's like 3 shots for anybody.
Anybody who's playing the drinking game, that's like
just wanted to get you loaded up this morning.
Yeah, that's about 4 shots right now. I'm sure they're not listening. Well, they might be listening to it in the morning.
Yeah, well, whenever you're listening.
Yeah, please.
Hopefully it's not the morning.
Yeah, please.
Hopefully it's Saturday fucking night.
Please take 4 shots. That's 4 shots, ladies and gentlemen. I have fucked up 4 times, and we've just began.
Get a hold of Uber. Be nobody driving after this fucking episode.
So they gave him $25,000 for expenses. The facility opened in March 1836, the same month as the fall of the Alamo.
Do that inflation math.
Yeah,
25 fucking thousand build you a penitentiary in 1836.
Well, it's been a long time since 1836.
25,000 wouldn't buy the fucking 2 urinals.
I mean,
for a penitentiary.
No. Well, you're talking also about 200 years ago, brother. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while. So, inflation and such.
Yeah. God damn.
So then, in the 1830s, the first prisoners there were employed in making the bricks and building the prison. So they had these guys out in
They had to make the bricks?
Yeah. They had the guys out in the tents, the prisoners, making the bricks and building the prison that they were going to live in.
They had wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, they got to live somewhere. Wouldn't want anybody else building it.
So the initial prison population consisted of one guard, one warden, and 15 prisoners, and a foreman for the brickmaking operation.
So, like, less than 20 of them built this motherfucker?
Yeah, they got 15 guys, one guard, and a warden out there in tents
Made
with
all
a
the
foreman.
fucking bricks?
Yeah,
wow.
with a supervisor going, look, this is what we're going to do, guys.
Well, no wonder our fucking country's all to hell. You got the best fucking workers in prison. Jesus.
So 11 of these guys were all incarcerated for larceny, which was theft, except for one, who was in prison for stabbing a man.
Nice.
Yeah.
God damn, man. Larceny ain't fucking netting you fucking building a penitentiary. That's punishment. You fucking slap on the wrist nowadays.
So in 1868, they finally finished the first hall, which was 38 years later.
Well, yeah.
A hall, or known as Housing Unit A.
That's the unit, boy. That's the one you did.
Oh, no, that was the fourth one. So it took them 38 years to build 4.
Oh, okay.
Housing Unit A was the fourth one. So, yeah, Housing Unit A. So it took them 38 years to build 4 units. Damn, that's slow moving. That's some slow moving building.
Jesus Christ, fucking 15 of them.
So the building was constructed of stones quarried on site that were dug up by the prisoners and built mainly by the inmates.
And they dug up
Yeah.
Holy shit!
They had them out there quarrying the stones, then making them into bricks, and then putting them together to build their own cells.
Oh, my
That's
goddamn.
some shit.
Well, that's probably the other reason it took so long. What in the fuck would have been the hurry? It's not like they're trying to get home to their wives and kids.
So, some of the notable inmates who were in this prison, Robert Berdella was a serial killer, a torturer, and rapist sentenced to life imprisonment inside this prison without the right to parole in December 1988, and he died inside the prison in October of 1992. So he didn't make it too long. No, just a few years inside the prison.
Probably not a very lovely stay for him either.
Charles Pretty Boy Floyd, Charles Arthur, was incarcerated on December 18, 1925 for a robbery. He died after being shot by police in 1934 inside the prison.
So he was one of the fucking dudes running around robbing banks and shit back then.
Yeah, in the 20s, yeah.
Like Dillinger and Babyface, Pretty Boy, Bonnie and Clyde. We need to do an episode on Dillinger.
Oh, yeah, we do, on Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde and them. Yeah, Clyde and Bonnie were nuts.
Yes, they were.
So Emma Goldman was an anarchist.
I would like to fuck her, though.
I don't know. She was probably a wild bitch.
Oh, fuck yeah, she was. That's what I'm talking about.
She was on Loveland, like, a lot.
Oh,
so, yeah, she was high off her ass all the time, too.
Well, hell, back then.
Yeah, it was legal. Just go to the pharmacy, right? It's amazing, though. It was funny because they used to rob banks and people and all kinds of shit, but she always bought the Ludlam. It's just...
Well, she was an honest drug user.
Right, she was an honest thief. It's cool. Yeah, murderer. So Emma Goldman was an anarchist, and she was incarcerated in 1917 to 1919. And she was incarcerated for trying to induce people not to register for the draft.
Really?
Yeah, that's all. She told people, don't register for the draft, and they threw her in prison. Because back then, I guess, during World War I times, you told people not to register for the draft, and clearly you're against the government.
Fucking jail.
You're going to max, bitch.
Who the fuck else are we supposed to use, bitch, other than people that have no choice?
Now here's a good one. Carl Alston Hall and Bonnie Haiti. Now this is a chick and a dude. And the duo, they had killed and brutally murdered a boy named Bobby Greenlease. So a week later, they were arrested, tried, and sentenced to death. They were both incarcerated, and executed on 1953 in the gas chamber built inside the prison.
Really?
Yeah, there was a gas chamber in that mother.
How many people got gassed, I wonder?
Like 40, I think it was.
No
total.
shit.
Yeah. Before that, it was hangings. They used to hang people on the property. That was the original death sentence.
So that's why this motherfucker's on.
Oh yeah. There's been hundreds
lots.
and hundreds of deaths on this property. Yeah, there was a riot later on. So, anyways, let's keep going. Charles Ray Hatcher was a serial killer who murdered 16 victims within a 12-year span. He committed suicide and hung himself on the prison grounds inside his cell in 1984.
Nice.
Now, you know who Sonny Liston is? The boxer?
Yeah.
Well, he was incarcerated here in 1950 for a number of charges, including armed robbery. He learned to box inside this prison.
Really?
And was paroled in 53 and became the world heavyweight champion in 62.
Well, that's
So
That's
he
an
learned,
uplifting story.
yeah, he learned how to box in that prison. That's how he became a boxer.
That's
was
what
in this
correctional
prison.
facilities are all about.
Yeah, you're right. You're
I
damn
like that.
right. That and gassing people.
100%.
Damn right.
So yeah, you can do just about anything under this roof.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it only took us 75 years to build it.
So, there was Robert Earl O'Neill, white supremacist, who murdered at least 4 black inmates.
Was that supremacist?
Supremacist, yes.
Okay.
He was a white supremacist. That's what he was. Supremacist. And he murdered at least 4 black inmates, including one Arthur Dade, while incarcerated at the penitentiary. Stabbed them to death.
Wow.
Yeah, so not only do you have
Stabbed
that...
him to death in the penitentiary?
Yeah, 4 of them.
Nice.
At least, that they know of.
Yeah.
So...
Shaking was started somewhere.
Yeah. So the last convict I want to talk about, which was a very famous one, was James Earl Ray. And he was the one that killed Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
He got there to the penitentiary on March 17, 1960. And on April 23rd, 1967, he escaped from the Missouri State Penitentiary in a bread box that was supposed to contain loaves of bread that were being transported to the Rennes prison. Somewhere during the trip, Ray escaped. Ray was later convicted for the assassination in 1968 and died of hepatitis C in 1998. So he was in the prison.
He escaped and then fucking assassinated the president?
No, he assassinated him, and they were holding him in the penitentiary until he went to trial.
Okay.
So he was there in 1960. 7 years later, he was still there and hadn't been convicted, which I think is a bit crazy. But okay, so
when he escaped, they found him.
Yeah, they found him, and then in '68 he was finally convicted. But that was 8 years after he was arrested.
Yeah.
Jesus. So you just gonna put him in a max security penitentiary for 8 years?
He hadn't even been convicted of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's talk about some of the riots. Here's from the Irish Times. Okay? There was 500 convicts at the Missouri State Prison, and they mutinied because, and the day before, 750 prisoners started a riot. So the day before, 750 started a riot, and then 500 more joined the next day. And that's because they wanted grilled meat instead of Irish stew, which I don't exactly know what Irish stew is, but it doesn't sound appetizing to me. It's probably potato water.
No, it's probably absolutely...
Yeah, it's probably potatoes and water is what it probably exactly is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just slop.
Yeah. So they refused to leave the dining hall, and they were trying to set fire to the place, but the governor talked them down and got them back to their damn cells. But yeah, they were trying to set fire to it. So then on the evening of September 22nd, 1954, there was a major riot at the penitentiary. It started when 2 inmates faked an illness to attract 2 guards. Once the guards arrived, inmates ambushed them, took their keys. Then the inmates ran down the cell blocks and corridors, just releasing everybody.
Oh, shit.
In the process. The Highway Patrol, the National Guard, and police departments from Jefferson City, St. Louis, and Kansas City were all called in to help. When it was all over, 4 inmates had been killed, 29 had been injured, and 1 had attempted suicide. 4 guards were seriously injured. Several buildings were burned, and the damage is estimated at $5 million.
Oh, shit.
No inmates escaped during the incident. And the buildings that were burned and the damaged remained visible for the next 10 years.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy shit right there.
So
that's like a movie, dude.
Yeah.
Just seeing these motherfuckers running around letting everybody out, dude. That's like Planet of the Apes.
And then, in 2003, there was even more murders. Toby Viles was murdered by 2 offenders that worked with him in the prison ice plant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then, let's see.
It shocks me that doesn't happen more.
Oh, yeah.
They let prisoners work together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure there was a lot of murders
and a lot of times, like, unsupervised. Like, not with somebody, like, readily just have their eye on them. Like, I'll see these work crews out here. You know what I'm saying? The sheriff has that van, and they'll be, like, doing, like, work crews. And they'll be, like, doing yard work or something. I mean, yeah, that sheriff's over there sitting in the fucking van.
Yeah, but it doesn't... Yeah, this guy can get pissed and just go to town on somebody with a rake or something.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So, let's talk about death row here at the Missouri State Penitentiary. From 1938 to 1965, 39 prisoners. From 38 to 65, 39 prisoners were executed in the penitentiary's gas chamber.
How many?
39 from 38 to 65. So,
damn,
all less than 30 years. 39
so over
people.
1 year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Holy
39
shit,
people.
Dude. That's a lot.
God
damn.
And in 1989...
Were they all gas chambered from 38
those
to
were all
65?
gas chambers, yeah. And...
dude, that's gotta be terrible. I'm sorry, but...
Oh, yeah, that's got to be the worst death in the world.
It's ironic because a couple guys at work today were just randomly talking about the lethal injection.
Yeah.
They asked me if I thought it hurt, and I said no, I doubt it. I would assume that there's a drug being administered that puts them to sleep before the actual drug that is lethal is injected. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Gas chamber, you're going to go through some pain.
Well, not only that, but this gas chamber was interesting because I've seen pictures of it. There was 2 chairs in it, so they could do 2 at a time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they could do 2 at a time.
I wonder if they ever did.
I'm sure they did.
Holy shit.
Why else would you put 2 chairs in a gas
True.
chamber? Right, I'm sure if they had 2 inmates ready to go, boy, they just strapped them both in and said, hey, 2 for 1 deal. Costs a lot less to kill 2.
I mean, do you know, like, how did a gas chamber work? Like, what kind of gas are we talking
Cyanide,
about?
same gas that they used for the chambers in the Holocaust.
But you're going to be alive.
Oh yeah, that's a horrible. That's a brutal death. You don't. God. That's why the Holocaust was so repulsive. They put them in those showers and pump cyanide gas in there, and at first you just get sick, you throw up, you feel nauseous. Yeah, you don't die immediately. You suffer a lot before you die in a gas chamber.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing we got from the Nazis. The gas chamber.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We sure did. That directly comes from Hitler.
Wow, man.
So, the last execution was 1989, and it was the first execution by lethal injection. And it took place in the same gas chamber, though. And so they strapped him in the chair and then lethally injected him. He didn't even get to lay down. They just strapped him in the metal gas chamber chair and fucking...
Yeah, we ain't using them.
Yeah, we ain't using them. But, well, I get him a cart. We'll just... Okay, now this is the worst part about really all of it. Before 1989, so from 1830 until 1989 is what we're talking about here, which is well over 100 years. The male death row for the death row inmates was located at below ground units made of dirt and rocks. And they were isolated underground in a dark dungeon with no electricity, away from other inmates. Yeah.
I wonder for how long.
Until they went to death row.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But
Yeah.
I wonder how long.
Years.
Because I mean, people that are sentenced to death, they ain't immediate.
Yeah. They did not leave this special death row facility, and all services, including food, were brought into the unit. Each death row inmate was only allowed 1 hour of exercise per day in a fenced area next to the death row facility. They were limited with restrictions on movement and limited access to programs. Conditions of confinement for death row inmates mirrored those found in other states. As with other state using prison facilities constructed before the turn of the century. The conditions at this penitentiary were much less than favorable for death row inmates and staff. And after a legal challenge, the Missouri Department of Corrections began to use an internal death row classification system with privileges awarded by behavior, and they changed the medical service procedures and provided a privacy room where death row inmates could attend religious services. So, they weren't even giving them medical treatment, bruh. Right. They were just throwing them in a dungeon, saying, if you die down here, we don't have to pay the price to put you in the gas chamber, bub.
I mean, it's kind of what we were talking about earlier, though, man. Like, we live in a weakening society because we feel sorry for people we shouldn't feel sorry for. If you're on fucking death row, there's a reason for it.
Oh, yeah.
Where should we be placing them? What kind of medical treatment should we be giving them? And my thing is, if you've killed someone and you've been convicted and you've been sentenced to die, what's the wait? What are we waiting on?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the hell you're waiting on. That's what I say. I understand people. Well, see, the problem is, this is where you run into the issue. What we're waiting on is their appeals and such. Because how many people have been sentenced to death and didn't do it?
Well, yeah.
We've even talked about some of them on the podcast.
I didn't think about, like, the whole appeal process. Plus, it's a business.
Well, yes,
but it's a fucking business.
How many people have been convicted and didn't do it? I mean, look at the West Memphis 3 that we were talking about. He was on death row for, what, 20-something years?
Right.
And they found out he never did what they convicted him of.
Right.
So, the problem with that is, if you kill somebody quick, it's kind of hard to take it back if you go later on and go, well, we were wrong.
True.
Right. You know, if they killed that guy quick, they could have never found out he wasn't guilty. Nowadays, it's a little different because evidence is much... But even nowadays, I mean, you got to understand, juries convict people on nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the guy recently, I can't remember his name. This was only like 2019. And they accused him of killing his whole family. Okay? Shooting his mother, his father, his brother. Now, there was a bunch of circumstantial evidence against this guy, but no physical evidence whatsoever. If you had seen the crime scene photos, there was blood all over this house. He didn't have a speck of blood on him. They proved he never changed his clothes. They never found the murder weapon. The only thing they had against him is he was using his father's credit card to go on campsites, and his father was pissed at him. And that day, sometime that day that his father was murdered, a large amount of money had been transferred into his son's bank account. And his father had kicked him out of the house. But that's explainable. I mean, if you're going to kick your son out of the house, even if you're pissed at him, you might give him a little money as, hey, I'm going to help you out enough so you're not just homeless on the fucking street.
Right.
You pissed off, but, so there was no evidence whatsoever of him doing this murder except for all circumstantial nonsense. And the police didn't look at anybody else, and he still got convicted.
Right.
How do you get convicted with no physical evidence whatsoever? I mean, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Right. So you got situations like that, and then, you got to have appeals. Because if you didn't, then yeah, a lot of people...
Innocent people would die.
Right, would die. So, this place, Missouri State Penitentiary, has been visited by ghost hunters. It was visited by a lot of paranormal experts. And it's interesting. I watched parts of the Ghost Hunters episode, and they got some really crazy EVPs here. They said hello in one section when they were in the older cells, and you could clearly on the tape hear hello back.
Really?
And he said hello again, and you heard hello back.
No shit.
When they were in the gas chamber, you heard moaning. They put a recorder inside the gas chamber, closed the door, left it there. You could hear moaning inside the gas chamber and someone saying, help me, help me, help me. Yeah.
Man.
Dude, crazy shit goes on here. And people, visitors and employees, they do tours of this place now. And personally, we're real close to Missouri.
Do they really?
Yeah, I've got to go. I've got to go. Yeah, Jefferson City's only about a 4 or 5 hour drive. I got to go. I'm eventually going to have to go.
It's a fun tour.
Yeah. So they tell eerie tales of the paranormal. Many people have saw apparitions and desperate people trying to escape the prison walls. They've also saw people in the chairs of the gas chamber. Visitors have said they've seen apparitions in the chairs of the gas chamber crying out for help, trying to get out of the gas chamber.
Ooh. Wow.
Now, I don't know about you.
Man,
I don't know about you, but if I saw someone sitting in the gas chamber chair, and I knew we were the only ones in the prison, and they were crying out for help, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. If I go on the tour, I'm out. I'm bouncing. We're done. We're done with the tour. Fuck your tour. I'm leaving. All right? We're not talking anymore. So, Ozark's Life, which is Kentucky 3, which is a channel in Kentucky, KY3.
Okay.
They call it KY3, the place to be. There's a free advertisement for all y'all. But Ozark Life went down here to the penitentiary, and this is what they said. They said it's like rising like a fortress for 168 years. The Missouri State Penitentiary was designed to keep prisoners from escaping. Today, almost 2 decades later after it closed, many believe the inmates are still there. So Chad Pline and David Glidden did a paranormal investigation down here. And they did it for Kentucky 3 and for the YouTube series Haunting History. He said they saw people peeking out of the cells at them. As they walked along, they would peek out of the cells and then disappear. Look around the corner and disappear like they were still in each of the cells. They said in Building 3 they heard shuffling coming from the levels above us, and we were the only ones in the prison. Now, this was also opened 100 years before Alcatraz. And it was closed 40 years after Alcatraz was shut down.
Damn.
Yeah. Gwydion said, you had everything from deaths to fighting here. There was a lot of energy, and the spirits feel like they can't escape or get out. Building 4, as we talked about earlier, was built by the criminals from the Civil War. So that Building A we were talking about, the criminals from the Civil War were actually the ones who built the building in 1868.
Damn.
Now, the notorious dungeon cells, which are in the basement, which we talked about also, which was death row, And they were also solitary confinement. A guy named John B. Johnson, nicknamed the Firebug, was kept in one of these cells for several years, possibly up to 10 to 15 years, in the 1880s. He started a fire in the penitentiary and killed at least 50 inmates.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so they put him in the dungeon cells and locked him away for 15 years. Because if you can't play nice, that's where you go, the dungeon.
Can't just set shit on fire, Johnny.
Yeah. They locked people up in the dark down there for many times over a year. Former penitentiary maintenance worker Larry Neal said, and he wrote a book about this place, about all his experiences. Larry Neal did.
He was an inmate?
No, he was the maintenance worker.
Oh, okay.
So he was a maintenance worker at the prison for years and years and years. And he said that they used to lock people up down there for years at a time. And people would lose their minds down there, he said. And they would go blind because there was no electricity. Or they would escape out of the cells and you couldn't get out of there, so they would just murder each other. Yeah. So they don't even know how many murders happened in these dungeon cells below the prison.
That's nuts.
So when the sun went down, David and his team, they split up. And they saw full-bodied apparitions. They heard voices calling out to them from the dark.
Oh, shit.
Telling them that they wanted to get out. Help me. Stuff of this nature. They saw shadows moving in the dark, and they heard terrible cries and crying coming from all of the dungeon cells. They said when it got dark, they wouldn't go down in the dungeon cells because they said those were the most active places in the prison. Which I assume it would be. I mean, how much torture went on down there. They said they constantly heard sobbing and cries of different voices coming from these cells, and they're the only ones in this penitentiary.
Dude, that's...
Yeah. They said they wouldn't go down there, yeah. So, Glydian asked, I just want to know, did they treat you all right? And they never really got an EVP. And they wrote, they asked, have you ever been to Springfield? So they never really got EVPs, but they got a lot of EMF spikes throughout the prison. They said when they got near the dungeon cells, the EMF meter went off the charts, dude. I mean, went off the fucking charts. They also got a lot of cold spots where the temperature, especially near the dungeon cells and the gas chambers, would drop like to low degrees, like below 30 degrees. And there's no reason for that if you got 80 degrees, down the hall from the cells. I mean, maybe in the dungeon cells it's below ground. Possibly
a little change.
Yeah, but not 30 to 40 degrees. And especially not in the gas chamber. It's right in the middle of the damn prison. You ain't going to get a change from right down the hallway to right down the hallway. It's just not happening.
Right.
So they saw a lot of activity in this prison. A lot. And the thing is, not only that, there has been multiple people that said this. I mean, everybody that goes to this place has seen apparitions, heard voices, and seen things in the dungeon and in the gas chamber and stuff. And I mean, it's like we talked about Waverly and other places like this. It seems like any time you go to a place where just human suffering went on to this degree and people were murdered and suffered and be in pain, whether it be really ghosts or whether it be an imprint on the building around it, it's like the environment almost absorbs all that negative energy.
Yeah. Yes, and especially, a bigger structure, a bigger building, whether it be a prison or a hospital or a mental asylum or, places like that, like you said, where there's been a lot of torture. Dude, I mean, can you imagine being... I can't imagine being anywhere solitarily confined. I mean, think about for a week.
Yeah.
What that would do to you mentally.
Right.
Years? You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, you got to think about this. No electricity.
Yeah.
You're completely underground. You're in a cell, which is the size of a closet, with a bed attached to a stone wall and a bucket. Not even running water, no plumbing. You don't get water unless they bring it to your ass.
And you're not. I mean, I'm sure you're not getting good food.
No, you're not being treated well at all
they're
down
going to
there.
give you just enough food and water
To keep you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not being treated well at all.
And I would say it's like an energy imprint.
Yeah.
Is probably a good way to put it. On the fabric of space-time in that area. Because, like, man, a gas chamber, or even getting to the point where you are able to commit suicide, or being murdered down in the solitary confinement area. Who knows what happens when you die? But, you know, that'll be up for interpretation as long as human beings are alive.
Well, I mean, we'll all know one day.
But the truth is, if your soul or your energy leaves this form or this human body at the point of death, then it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? And then a lot of it's also going to be determined by your energy at that point of death.
Right.
So these people in the gas chamber or in you know what I'm saying? Think about their fucking energy at that point of death, man. That panic, that fear.
Oh, yeah.
It would make sense, and then it's been there for so long, and there's been so many people that, yeah, it would leave an actual energy signature.
Energy signature there.
And that's why there would be, varying degrees in temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff.
Well, plus you had 168 years of this.
Yeah, that's what
it wasn't just a week or two. I mean, it's a lot of people went through this place, and a lot of people, and I understand the insanity part of that dungeon solitary.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course you'd go insane. You're around no other human being. No light, no interaction with anybody, complete boredom. All you do is wake up and it's dark. You go to sleep, it's dark. It's dark all day. And all you can hear is the other inmates around you, the mice, whatever happens to crawl in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking crazy, dude.
Right. Of course you'd go insane. Probably after much shorter time than a year.
I think, too, think about, if you, really try to put yourself in the mind frame of you're in the chair. You're in the chamber.
The gas chamber?
In the chamber.
Yeah.
You're waiting.
Yeah.
For them to turn on this fucking gas.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to be fighting for your life that you're not going to win.
No. Yeah. Not only that would be completely stressful, but then when they do hit the gas, you know how much pain you're probably going to go through before you finally die.
And then from 38 to 65, like you said, less than 30 years, they gassed 39 people.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. That's more than one per year.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're gassing somebody, you're not giving that fucking area a chance at all to fucking get rid of the negative energy that's already there.
No.
You're just adding more to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And on top of that, like we say, gas chambers are completely brutal.
Yeah, man, I don't,
the electric chairs.
I'm about eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Right? If you take somebody's fucking life for no fucking reason, then your life should be taken as well. But probably not gas chambered. If you tortured somebody, gas them.
Yeah. If you deserve the gas chamber, Dahmer, go ahead. I have no problem with it.
Sure.
Yeah. Bundy, no problem whatsoever with gas in his ass.
Right.
But you accidentally shoot a cop during a robbery, I think the gas chamber is a little bit of an extreme.
Yeah, because the truth is, using that method, whether or not, no matter what this fucking person did, using that method is going to leave negative fucking imprint of energy.
Well, not only that, I mean, some people don't deserve that kind of torment before they die. Some do. No. I'll give you that.
Sure.
Yeah, you rape and murder a little boy. Yeah, I have no problem you going to the gas chamber. You deserve everything you get. But, like I said, you accidentally shoot a cop, that's a little extreme for me.
Yeah, or like,
you kill a guy in a bar.
You just kill somebody.
Right, like that one guy that they executed, he manslaughtered a guy in a bar. He was drunk, they got in a fight, he killed the guy.
Well, even just gun violence.
Yeah.
You don't deserve You
no,
don't deserve to be tortured.
Because your victim didn't get anything.
That's not
a fair and reasonable punishment to me.
No, dude. That's a different way of dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The electric chair is much more humane way to go.
I would say.
Yeah. Because electricity passes through your body so quick, it's going to kill you before you even feel any pain.
Yeah, as soon as that electricity hits you, you're
done. Yeah, you're not even.
Your body's obviously going to be moving and in shock, but you're not fighting for your life.
No, and your brain at that point,
brain's been shut off.
Yeah, your brain's so screwed at that point, you don't feel all the stuff going through your body. Whereas the gas chamber, you're feeling every second of that death up until you die. Every fucking moment of that. Because it takes time for that gas to go in your lungs. It takes time for it to circulate through your blood. It takes time for it to slowly start shutting down your organs. The gas chamber takes a long
and the whole time you're gasping for air.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole time you're sick, nauseous, throwing up.
It's going to be burning your insides and all that.
Oh, yeah. Shit, yeah.
And you're feeling all of it.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a horrible way to die.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, that was our podcast on the Missouri State Penitentiary.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Hope you guys liked it.
I would like to go take a tour.
I would. I want to. I want to go down. But see, I don't know if a tour would do it.
I wonder how you get set up to where you can...
Yeah, I want to take the whole night. Yeah, it'd probably cost a bit. I'm sure, you could talk them into it. I might ask them about it. Make a whole weekend out of it. Have to talk the old lady into it.
It'd be fun.
But... And me and Jason are going for the weekend down in Missouri. We'll be back.
Right.
We'll be back on Sunday. No big deal.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Just going down, chilling in the old... But see, I'm a dumbass.
Show me, State.
But see, I'm a dumbass, because I would do dumb shit while we were down there. See, they couldn't let me and you just go down there by ourselves and do a paranormal investigation. Because I would do crazy shit, like sit in the gas chamber chair.
Yeah.
I'd have to. I'd have to go down the
crazy shit, like turn it on.
Right, yeah. I'd have to sit down in the cells, down in the dark, late at night and see what I got.
Ooh, man,
I'd be like, let's go. Let's go, baby. I want to experience it all.
That's like one... I have no fucking doubt that if you were down in those solitary confinement dungeons, that it would be freaky as fuck.
That'd be great. But you know what? For you, the listeners, I would do it. Not only would I do it, I would record it. Yeah, I'd record it just for you guys.
Everything I do is for the listeners.
You're damn right. Well, we hope you guys liked it, and we will see you next time.
Later.